What are you still waiting for permission to do? Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to this reading. Over the past few weeks, we have been exploring the priestess wound, leadership, visibility, hidden patterns, and the things that keep us small. So as I sat down with the cards this week, one question kept coming through. What are you still waiting for permission to do? Because so many spiritual women, they know that they're here for more. They know that they have gifts. They know that they're here to serve. They know they have wisdom. But something keeps holding them back. You know, they know that they have another level waiting for them. But the hesitation, the holding back, and they don't do this because they're incapable or lazy or not ready. It's because something deeper is still influencing them. So let's have a look and see what the cards want us to know today. So the first question is, what are you still waiting for permission to do? Okay, and the card we have is the Akashic Records. Okay, so when we're talking about waiting for permission, okay, we're talking about permission to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, to trust what you already know, permission to stop looking outside of yourself, for example, for validation. And the Akashic Records remind us that the wisdom we seek is already within us. Yet so many women spend years looking for another teacher, another course, another certification, another sign. They wait till they feel more confident, and all of those things. So deep down, your soul knows the answer. So it would be a good time to look at where you're looking outside of yourself for permission instead of trusting your inner knowing. Everything that we need to know lies within us. We can tap into that, whether through the Akashic Records or through connecting with our soul, with our guides, with our intuition, right? So this week you're being asked to notice how often you already know the answer before you ask someone else, before you ask for that validation or that certainty from someone else. Okay, that's really, really important. And you know, we can all tap into the Akashic Records. We can all visit the library of our soul, where all of our past experiences, all of our lifetimes, all of our timelines, all of the things that have been passed down through the generations from our ancestors, it's all there, and it is all accessible to all of us. You don't have to be special to access the Akashic Records. They are available to everyone, and they live inside of us, right? So this would be a good time to look at the Akashic Records and maybe understand more about the Akashic Records. This deck is designed to help you to do that. Okay, so question 2 was, what fear is keeping you waiting, right? When we wait for permission to really step into our power, our sovereignty, our gifts, our purpose, right? We're waiting for something. So we have karmic relationships. So karmic relationships, they can be difficult, they can be easy, right? We experience lots of different relationships. Karmic relationships come with a lesson that you need to learn, and it could be painful, it could be easy. There is a point to every karmic relationship that we have, and it is very much about growth and expansion. So this card's really suggesting that there might be an old relationship pattern that is stopping you from moving forwards. So it could be that, you know, you've had a few karmic relationships that have been judgmental or carry a lot of criticism or abandonment, or relationships where you learn it was safer to stay small rather than being fully yourself, right? So, over giving in that relationship, or making the other person more important than yourself. Okay. For some of us, that might be a current relationship where the dynamic is not quite where it needs to be, and perhaps the other person takes all of your energy or your time or your attention, right? This is a karmic relationship because it's trying to teach you to stand up for yourself, to be able to speak your truth within that relationship. For others, it may be a story from the past. It's going to be a story that still lives within our DNA, that still lives within our nervous system. So this could be a relationship from the past. It could be a past life relationship as well. Okay, so the fear within this isn't necessarily about stepping into your leadership role, or stepping into your purpose and mission. The fear is more about what might happen if you change, if you release the fears and all of the things that are holding you back, and step back into the fully expressed version of yourself. Okay, so a good question with this card would be, who taught you that being fully yourself isn't safe? Okay, and just notice where you're making decisions based on old fears rather than your current reality. Okay, so the next card that came up, funnily enough, was Ancestral Healing. So what deeper pattern is influencing you? And I think that this is really nice that this came up after Karmic Relationships, because it tells me that it's not just personal. Some of what you're experiencing is ancestral. So it could be patterns of silence, patterns of sacrifice, patterns of survival, or patterns of putting everyone else first. That might be a family trait, as it were, that you have been taught that you put everybody else first, right? And if I think about contracts that we've made around being a healer, at times it's been believed that if you're a healer in whatever form that is, right, a witch, a priestess, a general healer, we put everybody else's needs before our own. We have these gifts to serve others, not to help ourselves, right? So that pattern of putting everyone else first, like if you were the local herbalist, for example, you would have healed everyone else, but not use that gift for yourself, because that would have been believed as selfish, right? So there are lots of different generational conditionings and woundings that are passed down through our ancestors, and they come down through our DNA. They live in our nervous system, right? And they're not just going to go away. We need to work with them, understand them, acknowledge them, so that we can release them. So for lots of us, visibility, leadership, power, we have been conditioned that it is not safe for us to use them, right? And this card reminds us that just because a pattern was inherited, it doesn't mean it has to continue. And for me, when this comes up, this says to me that you are the cycle breaker. You are here to break this pattern for yourself, for the generations to come, and for the generations that already were. Okay, so this is an important card, right? When we're looking at releasing those ancestral blocks, and we need ancestral healing, we are working for the ancestors, for ourselves, and for the generations to come. When we work with the Akashic Records, we clear 7 generations behind us, and we clear the space for those in front of us as well, or those yet to come. So what pattern are you ready to stop carrying for your family? What pattern are you ready to break for the generations to come? Okay, and the embodiment with this is, ask yourself, does this, pattern, behavior, belief, fear, does it belong to you? Okay, because we are conditioned, for want of a better word, through our families and the people that we spend those formative years with. And if we're constantly told something, we believe that it's true. But it might be true for that person telling you that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true for you. Okay, so there is some work to do there. Okay, so what would become possible if you trusted yourself? Now, this is a beautiful card. We have Ascension, because Ascension is all about expansion, growth, embodiment, evolution, and becoming more of who you are, stepping into that fully expressed version of yourself. When we're healing and working with the Akashic Records, we are not becoming someone new. We are removing all the conditioning, all the patterns, all the fears, all the blocks that stop us from fully expressing ourselves, right? Remembering who we are. So this card is really showing you that the version of you on the other side of these fears isn't just slightly more confident. She's living an entirely different level of alignment, right? She is fully expressed. And that's really, really important. So that comes with a different level of trust. It comes with a different level of self-expression. And like I say, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about allowing yourself to remember who you really are, who you came here to be, what you came here to do, and how you came here to serve as well. So the Ascension card is a really important card after the Ancestral Healing. Once you clear these ancestral blocks, you can release some of the things that have been blocking you from your innate power, gifts, wisdom, knowledge, and your purpose, right? What you came here to do. So I think this is a really, really beautiful card, and it really helps us to expand, right, and ascend. So choose one thing that you've been delaying and take one small action towards it this week, right? So if you've been putting off going live, or if you've been putting off stepping into something new, take a small step towards it, right? So let's say you have been avoiding going live, maybe record something, right, perhaps on YouTube, and keep it private, right? It's that first step, and then keep taking those small steps until you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. All the time we hold ourselves back, we're not making progress, right? And we're reliving the same things over and over and over again. So what is your next step? This card literally brings everything together within the reading. So the next step isn't to force, right? It isn't to hustle. It isn't to become someone that you're not. It's to come back into alignment with your truth, your values, your gifts, your purpose, your mission, right? Because when we're aligned with our soul, decisions become clearer. They become easier. Taking that action step, taking that small step towards your goal, whatever that may be, becomes easier. Leadership becomes more of a natural expression of who we are. So soul alignment brings everything back into alignment, right? The more aligned we are with our truth, our voice, our message, our values, our decisions, right, our intuition and our soul, the easier things become, the easier it is to create that live, or put that new service or offer out there, because it feels so in alignment with you that it becomes easy to then share it. Okay, so with this card, maybe ask yourself what feels most aligned with you right now. Not what feels the safest, what feels aligned, what gets you excited, to get up in the morning. When we think about, our businesses, what offer or what message do you really feel that you want to share? Okay, and then start taking some steps to start sharing that. Okay. So I think these cards align really, really nicely, and they're showing many of you are ready and that you already know what to do. So the question isn't, am I ready? The question is, am I willing to trust myself? Because the permission that you've been waiting for isn't coming from a teacher, a course, a coach, a certification or a sign. It's coming from you. Right? And perhaps this week your soul is waiting for you to start trusting, start trusting yourself, your guides, your intuition, your soul, and start moving forwards, because this reading is really telling you you are ready, right? You are ready to stop waiting for validation. You're ready to trust yourself. You're ready to become in alignment and start moving forward. You're ready to let go of those fears and heal that generational pattern, that ancestral pattern that is holding you back. So these cards are the Akashic Soul Alchemy Oracle deck. If you'd like to know more about the cards, I will link them in the comments. Do let me know how this reading resonated with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So until we meet again, please do like, subscribe, share, and I will see you again soon. Ciao for now.